Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about episodes, which is the core unit of your podcast. And Podpage makes episode management and everything really, really easy. So what I pulled up is an episode page that's been automatically created and haven't had to do anything to it. It's got show notes. It's got a description. You can tell that the description and summary are much smaller than all of the show notes. They've put in all their topics and timestamps, and we pull in all these show notes, but you can actually do a lot more to these pages than that are already here. So we're going to go into the dashboard. You can click this edit button in the lower left that will take you into the edit page, or in your dashboard, just go to episodes, all episodes, and then select the episode you want to edit. So in here, what you can do is you can change the URL. So, it looks like this person is named Andy Hill. So you can change the URL just to the person's name, which is pretty typical for guests. That'll change the show URL to that. You can change the summary. You can shorten the summary. We have a publish date. You can put your season and your episode number if you use episode numbers. And we'll do a little hack with that I'll show you. I don't know. Let's say this is episode 16. We'll add episode 16. I'm not sure exactly what it is. You've got your show notes that you can go through, and you can make any edits you want. You can add embeddable media. You can add photos. You really can do whatever you want with your show notes once they're on your website, and they will stay this way. A lot of times you might want on your website a totally different type of show note than you would want in Apple Podcasts, and that's what this allows you to do. You can go in and you can add guests, and we'll get into guests later in the course. But once you start adding guest profiles, you could actually go in and say, oh, this is my guest what do you say? Andy Hill is the person's name, right? So you can say Andy Hill's my guest, and I'll show you how to build out the profile for Andy Hill in a minute. Really cool thing you could do is you can add a transcript. So if you use Otter AI or any other service to transcribe your shows, you can just type your transcript in here. Obviously, we don't have one. And if you already upload this to your host, like Buzzsprout allows transcripts, like we'll pull that in from there. If you have an episode video, you can add that here. I don't have one on hand, and so what I'll do is I'll just go grab sort of a random thing off YouTube. Let me see, find one that is not. You can just type a YouTube video in here. You can put categories. We'll get into sponsors later. And if you have a media player you want to use instead of the one, if you want to use the Spotify or Apple, you can replace the embeddable code here. And we do a great job with SEO, but you can go in and customize SEO tags here. So we'll just go ahead and save it. And then we'll go back to the episode page that we were looking at before. And the first thing I want to show you is, so you're on your website. If you go, because we said that was episode, I think 16, if that's episode 16, you can now send some people to you can use 16 as a way of getting there. So if your website is yourdomain.com, if you say, hey, go check out mydomain.com/16, and you just type that in, it'll actually send someone directly to this page. So let's look at the changes that we've just made. We've added a YouTube video that replaces the episode artwork. So if you do live recorded videos for every episode, you can have that at the top. We still have all the information underneath. But then down here, there's this transcript button, which takes you to a whole section that is where the transcript will be. Google can read this and index it. And there's also this Andy Hill thing at the bottom. Again, we'll get into guests later, but essentially what this does is this will take someone over to a page that is dedicated to this guest and will list all the episodes they've been on. So that's a little bit about episode. The only thing I wanted to show specifically around episodes, if you want to, you can also preset your episode. You can preset your episode URL ahead of time. So in your dashboard, you can go over to episodes and then upcoming episode. And what this does is if you know that you're going to have me to talk about Podpage on your next episode, what you can do is say the next episode that comes in is going to be Brendan from Podpage. And what this does is when we create the episode page, this is the URL you'll use. So that means when you're in your podcast host setting up your episode, you already know what your website URL is. You can put that in as your episode link. So that's a little bit about episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.